Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to factor some quadratic trinomials using the trial and error method. So what you want to do first is find factors of your A term. So the coefficient of your A term. So in that case that's our 2. So what numbers multiply to be 2? 2 times 1. And then we want to find factors of our C term. Now, at this point, I'm not going to worry about negative signs. I'm just considering everything positive. I'll consider negative signs towards the end. So what numbers multiply to be 27? 27 times 1 and 3 times 9. Okay, so then I'm going to write down 2 sets of parentheses because I'm going to have to create 2 binomials. Now, what I'm trying to do is I need to get one of these pairs. Now we only have one pair. Sometimes we have a list of pairs. But you'll want to get a pair of numbers from this column to be paired up with a pair of numbers from this column to get you the 3. Again, we only have one, so it makes it easier on this side. So this pair will either match up with this pair or this pair will either match up with this pair to get us 3. Again, at this point, I'm not worried about negative signs. I actually consider everything positive until the very end. Okay, so how do we get a 3? Let's try this pair with this pair. And what you do is you take one factor from this pair and multiply it to another factor from this pair. And then the remaining 2 factors get multiplied. And then you add or subtract those products. So what you do, like for example, we'll take 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 1 times 9. 1 times 9 is 9. So we have the numbers 6 and 9. So we have those products. So 6 and 9. Can I add them and get a 3? 6 plus 9 is not 3. How about can I subtract them and get a 3? 9 minus 6 is 3. So I can get a 3 from this pair and this pair. So now we need to place them within the binomials. So the first 2 numbers get placed first along with whatever variable it is. It doesn't matter how you place these. I could place 2 here or here or the x here or here. It doesn't matter. Then we need to place these. Okay, so these numbers will go last. And we know that the last terms will multiply together to get our C term. Now, it does matter how we place these. So just like I got the 3 up here, I want to get the 3 down here. So I want a 6 and a 9. So if I place a 3 here in this spot, now we know from FOILing the outside terms multiply to get a term. So 2x times 3 is 6x. So there's my 6. And so, of course, my 9 will just have to go here. And we know from FOILing the inside terms multiply to get a term. So we have 9 times x is 9x. So we get the 6 and the 9. And that's what we wanted. Now, the last step is where we worry about signs. So I need to multiply 2 numbers to get a negative number. So one sign has to be positive and one has to be negative. That's the only way you can multiply 2 numbers to get a negative. They have to be different. Now, does a plus go here and the minus go here, or does the minus go here and the plus go here? That's determined by this number, the b term. So we have a positive 3. So if I need to add 2 numbers to get a positive 3, well then I want my positive sign to be with the bigger product and my negative sign to be with the smaller product. Because I know in FOILing, so the outside terms multiply to get a term. So let's just do that. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. And the inside terms multiply to get a term. That's a positive 9x. And then I'm going to combine them to get the middle term. So let's do the entire FOILing technique to check. So we're going to check my FOILing. And actually at this point, right when you place them, you're done. So that's all you have to do, but we can check to FOIL, especially when you're just first starting this. I just do it I FOIL as I go along the problem. I don't really check at the end, but when you first start, you can do a check. So if the first terms in each binomial multiply to get a term, so we get 2x squared. and then we have the outside terms, the inside terms, and then the last terms. Positive 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. These two terms, the outside and the inside products, combine to get a term. And then I'll bring these down. So all these, we multiply all these to get our terms in our polynomial. We combine them. And when that product gets our original quadratic, then we know that these two binomials that we created are in fact the factors of this quadratic. Again, I just kind of FOIL as I go along, but you can do it at the end to check. But once you make your two binomials and you know they're correct, then you're done. Okay, let's do another one. So first step, we multiply numbers together to get the coefficient of our A term, multiply numbers together to get our C term. Again, I'm not worried about any negative signs at this point. And then I'm going to make two sets of parentheses. So one pair of numbers from this column will have to be paired up with one pair of numbers from this column to get us to that coefficient of our B term. So we need a 17. So let's see. What if I look here and here at these two? So again, to do that, what you're doing is you're taking one factor from here and multiply it to one factor from here. So I just start with the first ones. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then I do the two remaining ones that didn't get multiplied. 2 times 4 is 8. So I have the numbers 9 and 8. 9 minus 8 isn't 17, but 9 plus 8 is 17. So I got 17 from these two pairs. So these two go first, along with whatever letter you have. And it doesn't matter how you place them. And these two go last. It does matter how you place the 3 and the 4. So I want to get that 9 and that 8 that I got back here. So I'm going to place the 3 here to get my 9 and the 4 here to get my 8. Okay, so now I'm going to worry about signs. I need to multiply two numbers to get a positive number. So they either have to be both, the signs have to both either be positive or both negative, but they need to add to be positive. So I can't add two negative numbers to get a positive. So they both have to be positive. So you look to this number to see what signs you need. And this narrows it down, the B term. And then we can FOIL to check. So we have the first terms, outside, inside, and last. And those two combine, and we get our original quadratic. So we know that these two binomials are the factors of our quadratic. So another one. Okay, numbers that multiply to be 8. Numbers that multiply to be 3. Again, not worried about negative signs. I just consider everything positive at this point. Draw my two sets of parentheses. One of these pairs of numbers will have to be paired up with one of these pairs of numbers to get the coefficient of our B. Again, we're not worried about signs. Now we only have one pair from here, so that's going to make it easier. So I want to get a 10. Let's see. So again, I just take the first number from here and the first number from here. First factors. Multiply them, I get a 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And then the remaining two factors that didn't get multiplied, I multiply those. 4 times 1 is 4. So I have 6 and 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 minus 4 isn't 10, but 6 plus 4 is 10. So we got our 10. We got the 10. So now we have to place these numbers within our parentheses. So we'll place these first, and it doesn't matter how we place them, along with whatever letter. And then we'll place these last. So I want to get that 6 and that 4. So I'm going to place the 3 here to get the 6. And then the 1 here will have to be placed. It'll have to be placed here. There's no other place to get a 4. Okay, so now I got to worry about signs. I need to multiply two numbers to get a negative number. So they have to be different signs. The only way you can multiply two numbers to get a negative number is if we have one plus and one minus. So where does it go? Plus here, minus here, plus here. So that's determined by this term. We have a negative 10. So I want a negative 10. It's not gonna work. I can't get, like, if I were to place a negative here and a plus here, that's negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Like, I'm not getting that negative 10. Or if I were to place it like this, that's 6 minus 4, I'm not getting that negative 10. So I'm not going to get negative 10 that way. But I can still get, I see that I still can get negative 10 from these two pairs of numbers. So the first time I multiplied them together, 2 times 3 is 6, 4 times 1 is 4. It looks like I got 10, but when I placed them, I actually didn't get it. Now, what you can do, if it doesn't work that way, try multiplying the numbers that didn't get multiplied last time together. So I have 4 times 3 is 12, and 2 times 1 is 2. And I have the numbers 12 and 2. So 12 plus 2 is not 10, but 12 minus 2 is 10. So I can still get, and this is why it's called in trial and error. You just have to you have to play with the numbers. That's one thing that you have to do. So I am going to put, again, these go first. That's how you do that. And these go last. Okay, so again, these go first. It doesn't matter how you place them. 2 can go here, 4 can go here, 4 can go here, 2 can go here. And then we're going to place these. It does matter. So I want to get that 12 and that 2 I just talked about. So I have to put the 3 here to get the 12 and the 1 here to get the 2. Okay, so now I have to worry about signs. And again, real quick before we move along, we know that this order didn't work the way we paired them up here. So I need to multiply to get a negative number. So one sign has to be plus, one sign has to be negative, but they need to add to be negative, a negative 10. So I'm going to make the bigger product negative and the smaller positive. So outside is 2x, inside is negative 12x, and 2x's minus 12x gives us negative 10. And we can FOIL. Okay, so I have first, outside, inside, and last, these two combine to get me my middle term. So it's the same quadratic. And that means that these two binomials are in fact the factor of our quadratic trinomial. So again, this is called trial and error because you do have to play with the numbers, but it's very easy. It's not difficult to play with the numbers. You just find the products of the first two terms, find the products of the last two terms, add or subtract those products to try to get the B term. And it looked like I did, and I placed them, and then it didn't work out. So I have to try it the other way. I have to try, now these two terms get multiplied together, these two terms get multiplied together, and I add or subtract them to get the B term. And when I placed them, it worked out. So yes, there is a part where you have to play with the numbers, but that's the fun part, is playing with the numbers. Let's do another. Okay, so factors of our A term, factors of our C term. We need a 3. See, 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 1 is 1. 20 plus 1, 20 minus 1 won't get us 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Let's see, the other way, sorry. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 and 5. 5 minus 4 isn't 3. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2. 10 and 2. 10 minus 2 won't get us 3. This is prime. We can't factor this quadratic using integers. We say it's prime. We say it's irreducible, not factorable. So we can't factor this using integers. So let's try this one. 6 times 1, 3 times 2, 4 times 1, 2 times 2. And we want to get a 3. Let's see, 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 1 is 1. 24 plus 1, 24 minus 1 won't get us 3. Let's try the other way. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 plus 4, 6 minus 4 won't get us 3. And I can see here that we're never going to get a 3, no matter how we combine these pairs with these pairs. Again, this is also prime. Or as I said, we can also say irreducible, not factorable. We can't use integers to factor these quadratics. Let me stop there. So again, all you have to do is find factors of the coefficient of your A term, so numbers that multiply to be your A term, and then find factors of your C term, numbers that multiply to be your C term. And then we have to pair up one of these pairs of numbers with one of these pairs of numbers to get our B term. And you do that by multiplying the first two numbers together, the last two numbers, add or subtract those products. If that doesn't work, switch them around. And until you get that B term. And so there is an element of kind of just playing around with it. And like I said, that's the fun part. And again, I'm not worried about signs, negative signs up until, the last step. So these get placed first, these get placed last. And you're trying to get that B term when you're replacing them. And then once you place all of them, worry about what signs you need, and you can foil to check your work. I usually don't do this. I'm foiling as I go along, but that's fine if you want to do it. Just kind of double check. All right, guys, that is all I have for now. I really hope that helped. Please check out my other videos. I have tons of other videos over many other topics. And I'll talk to you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.